the importance of the relationships that you talked about. You got Big George Hageman, that your former teammate with the Cowboys. He came
Yeah.
in and spoke with the Buffs. He coached Jordan Seaton. How important are those relationships to help you with recruiting?
Well, it's tremendous because anytime you have an inside track on a kid, because really you want to know that kid.
Yeah.
So you go at him appropriately. You want to know who he is and his attributes, and just having, first of all, I know everybody at IMG. You got to understand that IMG is Under Armour. I was with Under Armour for, I think, during the 20 years. So I know everybody at IMG. So it was easy to glean that information. And just meeting the young man and his uncle and his mother, shoot, that was it. When you come on a visit here, it's no pretending. It's no, hey, let's get this right. Ain't none of that. Be who you are.
Right.
Because that's what he's going to see. He's going, especially a kid that with game and a little street knowledge and a little understanding, he's going to see through the smoke and the mirrors. Like, oh, so you put that in my suite, my room or whatever. So next time I come, is that going to be in there too? You know? So
Right.
you guys are all sharing me with this and that. So next time I come, it's going to be like that too. It has to be a level of consistency, my man. And we don't play about that level of consistency.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that you do to make surprise folks is, I don't care if the guy's a 5-star, grad transfer, who he is. You interview these guys ferociously before you offer. Right. Why is it so important for you to grill them in other situations? They're grilling the coach.
Because it's not about them just us fitting in with them. They got to fit in with us, because I'm 56. I ain't gonna change. Like, this is who I am. I don't know how to be no one else. So I'm not gonna change. Coach Charles Kelly, he's not gonna change. In the whole office, that's who they are. So we need to know, really, who keeps it 100? The mothers.
Mm-hmm.
The mothers keep it 100. The daddies are alive for their baby. They're alive for their sons, because that dad is living vicariously through the boy, because oftentimes the dad ain't have what the kid has, and the dad is living through it. They're alive. Mama ain't gonna lie. Mama is not gonna lie about her son, because she cares, and the father does too, but she loves so much. She just want him protected. So if she has to tell you the truth, make sure you protect her baby, she's gonna do that.
Right.
And oftentimes she does.
Coach, you mentioned your team in the high penalties, leading the conference in penalties. What are some things you're going to do to correct that and to make sure that you guys are not leading your conference in penalties next year?
It's funny because we started off so good. I mean, early on with the really being disciplined, and the structure and the discipline. So people make a big deal out of, if I say we wearing black socks, that's all we wearing, and we're not wearing them as footies. That's not necessarily the thought process of you wearing black socks. The thought process, if we set a rule, and I want to make sure you're disciplined with the rule that we're set. Because if you're breaking that rule, you're going to break this rule, you're going to break that rule, you're going to lose contain, you're going to run the route 2 yards deeper, you're going to miss the throw, you're going to miss the tackle. Like, it's certain things that when you lay out disciplinary things, you want them to abide by it. Yeah. And you're just building a cohesive team that's disciplined. And ironically, when it comes to penalties, man, it's the same guys. It's the same guys. And you could track down the level of inconsistency, not only on the field, but off the field, for the same guys. And sooner or later, you're going to address it, and you're going to have to do something about it.
Yeah. So the guy that's late to meetings or slow on watching film is the guy that jumps off sides.
There you go.
That's not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence. The guy that tries to get over in this, he's going to get over in that, and it's going to end up costing you. It's not a coincidence. Right. So you set little traps of, you're trying to teach them little things, but they're also a little trap to say, you see what I mean? You see what happened then? That's going to happen on the field. So if you're doing this off the field, it's going to happen on the field. It's hard to be undisciplined off the field and you hit a switch and you discipline on the field. That's not going to happen oftentimes.
Yeah.
So, Coach, parlay to that, you talked about, we talked the other day, that no more focusing just so much on guys who played in backup roles or limited roles transferring. You were going after starters.
Yeah, we're going after starters. Starters ain't on sale. Let's get that straight now. Okay, let's just get that out right now. Starters ain't on sale. So our collectives, shoot, our donors, the giving has tremendously increased because Matt Rule said it best. He said, "A good quarterback is going to cost you $1.5 million." I said, "Wow, that's
you didn't even have to say it.
That's honesty. Not that we yet, but that's honesty." So yeah, we've already tried the other route. We're going to go the other route now. We're looking for starters. We're looking for guys who play consistently at this level, and we've studied and gleaned and understood what they can do under pressure, not only in the first snap, but the 75th snap as well during the game. We want guys with experience.
I said either Coach Prime listen to my show or we think alike, because I said this right here. You said it in the press conference that last year was like shopping for groceries for when you're moving to a new place, you're trying to get everything. And whatever budget you have, you're trying to get everything. Now you can evaluate what you have in there in that cupboard. You can say, okay, I need this. I can go get that. I can take that out and get not the great value brand, but I can get a higher value brand, better quality. I got a higher budget now. Can you talk about that, shopping with a higher budget now, going to get those starters?
Not only a higher budget, but higher understanding of what we have. Okay, you don't have to shop for the starting safety. You got 3 that can flat out play. So you could bring in a high school kid, like I alluded to earlier, that it is not on a budget. Like you could bring in a kid that loves the game, wants to play, but he's not fine-tuned yet. He may need to get in that microwave probably a year. And he could contribute on special teams, then he could come and contribute. At the receiver position, you got some grown men, you got some dogs out there that can flat out play. So you could go get a couple receivers out of high school that could get in that oven a little bit and get in that microwave. They could get warm a little bit, but also you could go get you a couple dogs to complement those other dogs that you have. But now, who you gonna double? Yeah. Who you gonna double? Like who you gonna deal with? At the running back position, okay, you got this, you got that, you got that. Okay, you can go get a youngster. And we already signed a youngster out of high school, out of Georgia, who's really good, who could play this darn game. And I can't wait to see him when he gets into camp. But on the offensive line, you're going to get everything, man. On the defensive line, you're going to get everything. You're going to get those guys that started. You're going to get those backup guys that are right under that starter, who, when you rotate lines, there is no drop off. Yeah. That is that level of that aggressiveness, that motor that you're going to see. Yeah. And also at the cornerback position as well. You go get some guys who started. And I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't mention the linebacker position. You're going to get that as well, because we definitely need a couple backers that are older men.
Mm-hmm. Coach, I don't know if there's a coach in America that places the premium on practice as you do, on what you see at practice and the importance of, not just depth for rotation in the game, but scout team and preparation and mimicking your opponent. Talk to us about how that process works when you get these guys in to develop and be backups and earn those spots, how they also aid for game preparation and why that matters to you.
You really want your threes to give you the look that you desire, but also you're developing those young men as well at the same time. So just in case something happens, now that 3 goes to 2, and he could possibly get in the game if another injury occurs. But that's why you got to be intent and you got to be sound when you're even talking about your walk-ons, because your walk-ons oftentimes serves as a lot of your depth on your practice squad teams, on your look teams. And if you're not getting the proper look, your team is going to be in for a physical thrashing early in that game, because they're not going to be prepared because of the look they received all week in practice. Sometimes if we don't feel like we're getting a look, we'll go 1s versus 2s in practice and have those 2s serve as the scout team players if you don't have depth whatsoever. But it's very important, man, to get that look in practice, to go full speed, to compete. And we want too deep to the point that everything is competitive. We want cornerbacks to compete all week long, not knowing if you're going to start or not on Saturday. That goes strictly by how you competed in practice all week. And you'll find out probably Friday who's going to get that start. But it's not until Friday, because you had to work your butt off this week to make sure you get that start. That's the competitiveness that we desire, that we want here. And that's depth. That's depth as well.
I can lead right into a question. And based off the documentary last night, I liked seeing this young fella on there and speaking the way he did and opening up, because you know, a lot of people say from the well-off videos, you see a guy like Kamani McLean kind of being in his shell, looking kind of shy. How was it to see him in the documentary speaking and being articulate the way he was, and talk about his development also?
Well, let's take one thing at a time. He's naturally or introverted person. He's really like that. Although he may dress with the little Florida swag, he's an introverted type person. So he don't really allow his emotions and what he thinks to come out. So he's not a big talker or a guy that's going to be in the cafeteria holding court. He's not that type of guy. But as he's more and more confident in what he's capable of doing, you'll see more of who he is. When that camera's on you, it ain't time to be shy. It's time to go for yours, and it's time for you to go get it, because you want the likes, you want the love, you want the followers. Now is your opportunity. You can't be shy if that's what you want. Right. So he's learning and watching the Travises and the Shadors and some of the other guys. That has taught him as well. As far as his development, that's totally on him, man. We have some really good coaches here on this campus, and you could get it however you want it, as much as you want it, as much as you need it. That's on you, but we cannot force you to be great. You got to want that. And when he hits that area of desire and need, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I think so too. Because was there a strategy of bringing in guys that maybe needed a year, all coming off injuries, like a Travis J, Jalen Ellis, who else? Tisdale.
Yeah, that's definitely a strategy. First of all, you want to see how they work, because when they're not really a part of the plan that year, and you see they're injured, you want to see how they work to get healthy. You want to see how they study and prepare, even though they're not playing. Okay, but when you do play, do you know the scheme? Or when you get back, it's got to be a learning process still. Why is there a learning process and you've been here all year? Why don't you know the defense of the offense and you've been here all year? So are you not attentive in meetings because you're not getting to play? Are you not watching film on your opponents because you know you're not going to play? All those different things attribute to who those young men are. And it's our desire. That's part of your development, man, your work ethic and your desire to be who you desire to be. A lot of young men came in banged up, and I think we had a couple guys that had surgeries already at the conclusion of the season already, and they're already, healing and in that process of being developed mentally, not physically. But we look for those guys to pay dividends. But it's not a good sign when you're injured and you're not working your butt off to get back healthy. It's not a good sign.
Yeah, you got to get in that treatment room and that meeting room for sure.
Coach, early on and in the documentary, you talk about getting that losing culture out of the building. They got to get out immediately. Whether it's the building, support staff, players, blah, blah, blah. How close are you 1 year later for it being to where you needed to be to truly move forward?
You don't have to get them out the building. They rid themselves, because it just don't fit. It's not a click. It's not, you can't live up to the level of expectation. So you just go and you find somewhere else that you're more competent with, that you're more ideal to play more, because this ain't it. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, all of us have looked at a dime and said, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
And come with something.
I don't know if I'm ready for that. Let me go on over here.
Hey, I had a partner of mine, man, who I know very well, love dearly, very capable brother. Like, he means well. he asked me about working with us, about working the pregame show. And I told him, I said, dog, this ain't you.
Right.
Like, I know you.
I know you.
You want to go home at 4 o'clock. You don't want to come in, and this ain't the environment. You a good dude, and you will fit somewhere else, but this ain't you, man.
And I told, and Neely knows this to be true, when people were talking about how many people we got rid of last year, we didn't. We only had conversations with probably 15 to 20 people. The rest of them quit. They got rid of themselves. I can't control that. Like, they flat out quit. We ain't seeing them nor. They would have group quitting times. Like, okay, we're gonna quit today at 2. Like, hey, man, what is going on here? So we had nothing to do with that. Please, at whatsoever. But Pretty Tony just walked in. When Pretty Tony walked in, you know his business. Okay.
It's time. That's the chief.
It's time, fellas. I appreciate y'all, man. We got to sign some more guys so we can shake up the world.
Coach,
real brother. See you soon, man.
Do you think recruits get it? Do you think they understand the opportunity that's in front of them with an offer from Colorado?
Some do, and there's some that do that they're going to be here. Some don't, and they won't. The thing about it, I want all these kids in, we're speaking to our collectives right now, speaking to our donors. We want all these kids to be able to come here and play and be compensated to the fact that they're okay, that they're not going to be hungry or wanting for nothing. That's not going to happen. That don't happen in college anymore, pretty much at this level. But I want your desire to be great first before your desire to be rich. Because if you're great, consequently, you're gonna be wealthy. That's as simple that I can't even put it no more. That's the best I can put it. I can't explain it no more.
We're gonna drop that, Coach. We're gonna drop that organ right there.
I can't. When I played the game, and I hate using myself as an example, I wanted to be great, man. I didn't have dreams of. I wanted to retire my mother, but I know in order to do that, I had to be like no other and keep her retired. So that was my goal. That's why when I tell you we talk to these young men about their why, that means something to me. If that why don't add up with who you are, we got a problem, and we're not going to further pursue this dream of being together. We're not going to do that. So the young men that we're bringing in right now, they understand their why, and they understand who we are, and we understand who they are, candidly. So just get the organ ready, because we're going to start hitting you from day to day.
Let's do it. All right, appreciate you.